Did you know that in 2022, the federal government spent $36.6 billion directly on infrastructure projects? And what's this mean? This means there's a lot of money out there that you, the contractor, can get your hands on. And this doesn't just apply to the big contractors. In the same year, over $15 billion was awarded directly to small construction-related businesses. The demand is high, and the rewards can be huge for government projects. But it's important to understand that the bidding process is different from private non-government projects. Bidding on government projects can be complex and require significant planning and preparation. Also, there are strict regulations that contractors have to adhere to. And don't forget about potential pre-qualification requirements. So for those of you contractors watching and you're ready to learn and work hard, we put together this guide just for you. We're going to show you how to deal with the strict regulations, how to crush the bidding process, how the selection process works, and at the end, we've compiled a crucial list of tips to help you get ahead of your competition and win these big government projects. This video is sponsored by Heavy 8. Do contractors make more money with government projects? Well, with some exceptions, of course, the short answer is yes. You can make excellent money, millions with government projects. Government projects often come with a guarantee of scale and longevity, providing a steady revenue stream over extended periods. In addition, governments, especially in stable economies, tend to be reliable payers, reducing financial uncertainties. The prestige associated with executing large-scale public projects can also bolster a contractor's reputation, positioning them for favorably future contracts. Have you ever heard the expression that fortune favors the bold? Well, when it comes to winning government projects, that's certainly the case for contractors. What are the types of government projects? Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, here's a quick list of some, not all, of the most common government projects you need to know. Highway, bridges, and other transportation infrastructure. Airports and other transportation terminals. Community centers and public libraries. Federal and state government buildings. Military bases and installations. Correctional facilities. Courthouses and police stations. Public schools and universities. Hospitals and healthcare facilities. Water treatment plants and other utility projects. And parks and recreational facilities. Strict requirements and guidelines. Compared to typical projects, government projects have stricter regulations and guidelines that must be followed. If you're not planning on strictly adhering to these regulations and guidelines, you can kiss your chances of winning any of these projects goodbye. So what are these strict regulations and guidelines? Well, here's a list you need to be aware of. Punctual completion of required paperwork, progress reports, payrolls, and certified payrolls. Compliance with federal, state, and local regulations related to environmental protection, such as obtaining necessary permits and managing hazardous materials. Compliance with safety standards set forth by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, and other appropriate agencies. Adherence to specific construction procedures like quality control and quality assurance programs, testing and inspection protocols, and reporting requirements. Use of approved materials and products that meet relevant standards and specifications. Compliance with labor laws related to wages, benefits, and working conditions, such as the Davis-Bacon Act. Of course, more regulations and guidelines may be required for a certain government project, This is just a basic list, and keep in mind specific requirements will likely be impacted by the type of project, the location, as well as the funding source. For that reason, it's imperative that you carefully review the bid documents and possibly even consult with experts as needed to ensure compliance with all appropriate regulations and guidelines. Well, do you like what you see so far? We'd really appreciate it if you'd like the video and subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you'll know whenever we drop a new video. Now, let's get back to the video. Criteria versus price. When it comes to government projects, the selection process is often based more on criteria than price. The predetermined criteria is used to evaluate each bidder's qualifications and capabilities beyond just offering a competitive price. Criteria might include experience. The government agency may consider the bidder's experience on similar projects, particularly in terms of project complexity and size, as well as the bidder's familiarity with specific regulations or guidelines related to the project. Past performance. The agency may review the bidder's past performance on previous projects, particularly with regard to completing projects on time, within budget, and to the required quality standard. Technical expertise. The agency may evaluate the bidder's technical expertise and knowledge related to the specific type of construction project being bid on, such as specialized building materials or construction techniques. Safety record. The agency may review the bidder's safety record, particularly with regard to adherence to OSHA standards and compliance with environmental regulation. DBE and small business participation. The agency may give preference to bidders that have a plan to include disadvantaged business enterprises, DBEs, or small businesses in the project team, as mandated by the government agency overseeing the project. Now, while price is still an important factor in the bidding process for government projects, it's often not the only or even the most important factor. Bidders must demonstrate their qualifications and capabilities in all areas of the bidding process, from the initial proposal submission to final negotiations and execution of the contract. Tips for bidding on government projects. To conclude, here's a list of tips that we feel are crucial to defeat the competition and win those government projects. Attend the pre-bid meetings. Attend pre-bid meetings and site visits and ask questions and get a better understanding of the project requirements and expectations. Review bid documents carefully. Read the bid documents very carefully and make sure you understand all requirements, regulations, and guidelines. Obtain necessary certifications. Obtain any necessary certifications or licenses required for the project, such as environmental permits and safety certifications. Identify potential subcontractors. Identify potential subcontractors and suppliers who can help you meet the project requirements and specifications. Review and understand the selection criteria. Review and understand the selection criteria that will be used to evaluate bids and make sure you address all required criteria in your proposal. Submit a comprehensive proposal. Submitting a comprehensive proposal that addresses all required criteria and clearly demonstrates your qualifications and capabilities for the project. Include detailed pricing information. Include your detailed pricing information in your proposal, including a breakdown of cost and any contingencies or assumptions. Submit the required paperwork and documentation. You must submit all required paperwork and documentation on time and in the correct format. That includes bid bonds, performance bonds, insurance certificates, and certified payroll reports. Follow up on the bid. Follow up on your bid after submission to ensure all the paperwork and documentation is received and address any questions or concerns that could come up. Be prepared to negotiate. You have to be prepared for negotiations if your bid is selected and be willing to work with that government agency to address any issues or concerns that could arise during the course of the project. And maintain high standards all the way through the project. Maintaining high standards throughout the project, including adherence to regulations and guidelines, safety protocols, and quality control procedures, it gives you the edge. For those of you who want to master the bidding process and build a construction business that generates millions per year, then you need to check out the Heavy Ape courses. You can visit heavyape.com or get a link in the description below. Well, that's all we have for now, and be sure and subscribe so you'll be notified whenever we release a new video guide.